second Secret Garden Tour. This month, L'Atelier is taking you to Ladew Gardens in Modoc, Maryland, just outside of Baltimore. Ladew Gardens was actually my inspiration for doing the Secret Garden Tour. I was visiting my granddaughter in Baltimore. She decided to take us to this lovely garden because she knows I happen to like flowers and foliage. And it was fall, and it was my very favorite time of the year. And we had a wonderful day there. And while we were doing the tour, I got the inspiration to, instead of doing a luxury cruise, we would do a garden tour. Because the flowers and the colors, for me, have always related to yarn and knitting and inspiration for those things, because the two kind of go hand in hand, at least for me. At any rate, Ladew Gardens was founded by a man by the name of Harvey Ladew in the about 1920, 1930, late 1920s. He was a citizen of England. He traveled the world extensively, and including a lot of time in France and at Versailles and looking at all the different gardens there. And he had a love of gardening, but he relocated to the United States and took up residence in Long Island. And while he was in Long Island, he wanted to go fox hunting, the great thing for an Englishman to want to do. And somebody told him, well, you need to go to Montauk, Maryland. That's where the best fox hunting is. So he decided to take a trip. He did. He found 227 acres in Montauk, which is now what makes up the whole Ladew estate, and he purchased it along with a dilapidated old property. He then began to renovate, and he renovated the actual structure. He turned it from this old dilapidated farmhouse into an incredible 15-room house. It's not really a mansion, but it's really interesting, and that's part of the tour. When you go to Ladew Gardens, you actually get to see the house, and everything was left intact on it. Nothing was redone. All the furnishings, everything are from when he donated the property in the early 1970s. But everything was as he started to restore in the late 20s. He also took the acreage, and of the 275 acres, he took 22 acres of it and he made it into a topiary garden. Topiaries were his favorite things, and he oversaw every single bit of the topiary positions, what ones would go in there, and that has been maintained. He donated it as a charitable venture to the state of Maryland, I believe. I'm not positive if that's the case, but it's one of the different institutions that runs the garden tours. And you can go and see all these beautiful things. Theresa has on my first inspiration. This is what really got me excited as I was starting the Ladew box. So to me, this is the colors of Ladew Gardens, all of them. And it's knit in this wonderful, glorious yarn from Lang. It's Lang Cashmere Light, and this year they did color. They've done it in solids for the last, I don't know, probably 10 years, but this year they decided to do colors. This is all one skein of yarn. It's an 88% cashmere spun on a 12% poly core. So it has an elasticity that means it's not going to grow all over the place. It's wonderful. It's one color, okay? So all of these colors come up in it. This is the most vibrant shade that they have. This is color 2. And I've got to tell you, this simple chevron pattern, which was actually inspired by art yarns, kept me going. I couldn't put this sweater down as I was knitting it. And then, of course, I had to add in the touch of the beaded silk and sequins lights, the beads. So this is the size medium. It's a 42 when it's finished. And then it comes down. This is probably 21 inches long. It could be 22, and you could do it a slight bit narrower. But I do think this is the sizing for this for the medium.
This is so beautiful. I'm sorry.
Do you like it? How does it feel?
It feels amazing. It's so soft and buttery, and I just want to be like, oh, cuddles.
It is, and it's that way the whole time you're working on it. And then when I added in the beads, so here's the deal. This took 10 skeins exactly. Now all of you have your box amount. This is a pricey yarn. So last month there was some overages from your boxes. In other words, you didn't necessarily spend your whole budget. So that money went onto account, and so if you need extra, we will apply that. Now, some of you may want even more because you may do more than one project in this one. I can't resist any of them. So this is a simple feather and fan. I'm sorry, it's not feather and fan, simple chevron.
Chevron.
And I changed it up a little bit. I've got 2 stitches here before the yarn overs and the SSKs. And then to make sure, I didn't do it in the round because I'm not a fan of knitting in the round. I really don't like how things fit that well. I know
You're
it's
limited.
It is, and you don't have a lot of leeway once you're already down to here and you've decided it's too big.
Yeah.
So what I did do though, so I let the yarn do whatever it was going to do. I let it unfold in the colors, but then I made specific 2-row areas of the beaded silk and sequins light, and I did them on the same spot front and back so that it does join up. And then
So at the side seam is
it's
where
side
joins
seam
up.
it
Okay.
joins, yes.
Cool.
So it's cool and it makes it really nice to work on.
I feel like $1 million on this.
I-
This is so freaking cute.
And
It's just
I don't
yummy
normally
and-
wear this much color, but I
It's a
would
lot of
wear this
color.
piece. It's
It's
incredible.
happy.
So other colors that it comes in, and I'm gonna show some other projects also so you can see them. This is kind of, I call it sort of plum pudding. It's got corals and hot pink, a little bit of beige, a little bit of chocolate brown. It's
Yummy.
different than the one that we showed our blanket in for holiday, and I'm going to show that in a minute because that's another possibility. This is one I didn't work in, and this is all neutral. So it's beiges and browns and grays.
That's pretty too.
It is.
Those neutral girls, that works out
And this,
well.
you could work this with like a simple, like a black bead maybe, and a charcoal or a dark brown. So you have lots of possibilities, or you could even put a pop of color in it.
Pop a color.
Pop of color.
This
And
one's
then-
pretty. This is a beautiful blue combo.
Right, and that's the more that denim-y kind of feeling. And again, you could accent that with a white, you could accent it with a navy, you could accent it with a solid blue, light blue, any one of the colors that's in there and keep it more monochromatic.
Yeah, that would be pretty too. It feels so good. Oh my God, just messing with
I
it.
know. So this is project number 1. Project number 2.
Number 1.
Project number 2 is inspired by our old friend Cuccinelli. Many of you have sent me a picture of this little bomber jacket that is done in a cashmere yarn, and then they had it with like a sequin that went in between it. And you could do it with a sequin. You could use our bling in between too. But
This
I
is
decided
magical.
to keep in with the same feeling as the that's the
pretty
wrong
too.
side. I know.
No, I like it too.
I had a hard time.
Sorry.
I did. I had a hard
Okay.
time deciding. I was going to show it both ways. After I steamed it, though, I actually liked the right side better.
Okay.
And I'm always a wrong side person. I always
Oh.
like the wrong side better. But this is just exquisite. It's knit side to side,
Okay.
and it's a 6-row pattern. And then the beads make an SSK yarn over knit 2 together, and you come back with a yarn over purl 2 together. So it's really easy. And then you go back to the
I love the ribbing at the bottom. It breaks the
know.
color and just keeps you moving. Little sporty.
yes, and it's designed to have a zipper.
Oh,
And then it
yummy.
has a collar that comes up. That is
You know what
up
else
here.
is beautiful about this project is the yarn over stitches. And then in this also the yarn over stitches in the sweater that I have on, it really helps keep it light and comfortable so you could wear it throughout the day. If it gets cold, put on a jacket. You know, just
Right.
great to
It
wear.
is. It's open area. It's great for California. Good for Florida, I think, on those a little bit crispier days, or when you're traveling back up to New York or wherever you're going on vacation.
Oh, it feels so good.
But it is. And this was fun to do too. This was about 3
still like the
nights
wrong
of
side.
work. This
that's
one
not
was
bad.
knit on a size 9 or a 10.
Which one? Sweater 1?
Sweater 1.
Sweater 1 on our 9 or a 10?
And this one was done on a 9.
That's not bad.
So it's really
These are my
nice
kind
to
of
knit
things.
on. Yeah, they're doable. Okay,
You see
so
this?
that's sweater number 2. Okay,
Cute.
then the third project,
Dun, dun, dun,
and I know
dun.
you're familiar with this. This is the throw. Okay, I have not finished the throw mainly because I didn't have enough yarn to finish the throw. But this is the one that we featured in our holiday catalog. This is a big project. It's blocks of 8 that are done in either stockinette or knit 2 purl 2 with ribbing back. Every row is either an all knit back or an all purl back. But you can see that there's stitch variation going on. This just makes you want to curl up
It's yummy.
and be, I want one for every room in my house. Again, because of the elasticity of the yarn, the edges hold really well. I don't think it's even going to need a trim. And you can make this any size you want. The biggest one is 48 by 56. You can go bigger, but 48 by 56. And that's going to take 26 balls of yarn. So it's
Okay.
a project. But it's done on a size 11 needle.
That's not bad. I
So-
like how you have some different pattern stitches going on, so it's not just a traditional basket weave.
No, each block, it goes from, like this is knit one, purl one, then it goes to knit, and then back to knit one, purl one. And on this row, you purl back every time.
Okay.
And that's for this block of 8 inches. Then when you get to here, I started it with a knit 2, purl 1, or it's a purl 2, knit 1. And then you, on the opposite row, you purl the whole row. So
Okay.
it's interspersed with blocks of stockinette and reverse stockinette.
Just
And then the
beautiful.
pattern stitch is slightly different. But this is just magnificent. And this is a piece, again, being on the tour, you get 30% off. So if you want something like this is the time to get it.
Absolutely. I also appreciate how the color change isn't just a harsh line. Sometimes you get a little fleck of a color that you're unexpecting, and it just moves and
Right,
it's
like right in
happy to
through here.
watch.
It's got that almost paint spatter kind of look.
Yeah.
And it does. It comes up in a lot of different spots. Like here on the gray, you can see it with the pink.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the yarn has movement. It's just glorious.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful drapiness to
So
it.
that's project number 3, and this is done in, I think this is color number 4. I have to apologize, I don't have the label on it, but we'll have them all labeled on this video so you can see.
Project number 2 is done in color 5.
So then I'm pretty sure this one is color 4.
Okay.
This one's color 4.
So the blanket would be color 4.
Okay.
All right.
And then, just because I decided maybe not everyone would want color, and so I decided to offer something in a solid. So many of you are familiar with the Robina pullover. This is a sweater that's knit in the round, top down, and I decided to offer it with the beads and a solid color of the cashmere light. So you can pick any color that they have, and we'll figure out what bead color you want. This is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It could be done in a cream with a navy. It
Oh,
could
yeah.
be done in a pastel color. The sky's the limit on this one. It's easy to knit. There's a little bit of German short rowing that goes on in the beginning, and then this is the back yoke. It's going to get joined to the front yoke, and then it works in the round. It does a little bit of stranding where the beads are, but then you have a lot of rows where there's no stranding, so there's time to kind of regroup.
And it moves quickly then.
It does move quickly. And many people, many of you have sent me this photo and said you really wanted to do this. So this is your opportunity. And again, I love the gray and the black,
This is beautiful.
but it could be done in so many different combinations.
Well, I like the idea of the shiny, glitzy yarn with the yummy, matte, but elegant cashmere.
Exactly. And this one I did on a size 6. Maybe a 7. I've got the old needles here, so I'm not.
Number 8.
Oh,
Lucky
number 8. Look at
Hey,
me.
hey.
Number 8. Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So
it has
it works.
just a nice little movement to it.
And it lets the beads hang right for the 8. You could have taken this up a little bit bigger needle, but then the beads would get too smushy looking. So.
No, I appreciate the almost laciness of the beads.
Yeah.
It's kind of sheer, so you could see like a camisole. under
Right.
it,
It'll
maybe.
need something, right.
Yeah, that's beautiful though.
And it's a nice size sweater. So those are the 4 projects, and from that, you guys will give us a call. We'll figure out what you want, what colors you want, and we'll start the next tour so that you have your garden implements ready to go.
Excellent.
All right.